the last thing I want to do is get in front of the camera and be like, hey guys, check this out. I don't know.
Squeegee Ink Podcast Season 2. This podcast is sponsored by Blind Maggot, Magna Colours, M&R, Target Transfers, and Adobe Creative Suite.
My name is Josh Dykstra, and I run Print Screen or Print Screen screen printing. I've been just calling it Print Screen lately. And so I'm based in Orlando, Florida. And yeah, I mean, we primarily specialize in design work, but we've been doing more screen printing lately, just custom screen printing for like mostly bands and, smaller jobs mostly. And it's definitely more of like it's a garage shop, so kind of a side hustle, I guess. Not my full-time gig, but some good, side hustle type stuff going on.
No, definitely. I'm seeing quite a lot of garage print shops opening, and they really just seem to be opening and getting the aesthetic right straight away and making it all the videography and all the imagery really, really good straight off the bat. Can you tell me about, is it you and Kate who run the business?
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
It's mostly me. We both, we're both designers. That's our main background. We come from apparel design actually. And our full-time jobs have been graphic design for licensed sports apparel. So we just have that background in designing apparel. And so we're both designers, but I'm primarily the screen printer. She doesn't really do that. That's mainly me. So yeah, we just, that's my wife. We just, do what we can on such a small scale. And I don't know, it's fun right now. It's a business, but it's not we don't feel the demand to keep it self-sustaining really. It's just when we only get maybe a few jobs a month kind of thing. You know?
So you're doing it organic at the moment and just seeing how it builds.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's going to eat you up and it's going to be your whole thing.
Yeah, we're already getting the itch. It's when do we transition to full-time? We're kind of feeling that out right now, I guess.
Yeah. So what are the first things that got you into it? Did you just always know about the screen printing thing, but just you're working on this side of the computer and you just sent artwork off, so you knew about it, but had never experienced it?
So I guess I technically got started about 12 years ago. And it started because I was in a band and we needed t-shirts. I think a lot of people get into it that way.
Yeah.
And we're very DIY punk type of band. And we just needed t-shirts. And I was like, yeah, I guess I can figure that out. I don't know. It's kind of naive, I guess. But yeah, I figured, I'll give it a shot and print some shirts. And those first shirts were terrible, but you kind of learn along the way. And when I first started, I wasn't even really, because we were in an apartment at the time, just a really small bedroom apartment. I didn't have dedicated space to do it. Just kind of printing out of our dining room. And it was super messy. I didn't really even have the capacity to make screens. So I had a friend of ours make the screens for us, and we were just printing, what we could in our dining room. But I mean, as soon as that band broke up, I didn't really have a reason to do it anymore.
Yeah.
I wanted to do it, but it was just kind of a hassle with the amount of space we had. So all that screen printing equipment, which was just a one color press, it was nothing. I got it from Ryonet, the basic stuff. And this was before Riley Hopkins and stuff. So the most basic one color press. But when I didn't really have a reason to print, I kind of just put that stuff in storage for a while. And then when we bought a house, I actually had a garage and room to do that. So that's when I started getting back into it. And I would say that's when I got serious, probably like 4 years ago. And since then, it's still been mostly like personal projects. But once I got those, like, I guess I got more confidence, like I could print well, that's when I started, like, taking on clients and stuff. And it's been mostly like bands, like friends that are in bands, and that's really what I want to print for, because I just like working with the music community. And that's, so I guess 4 years professionally, or whatever you want to call it.
Making that jump to actually like make some money out of it and not be scared about putting it out. For sure. But
I
see that you've kind of like stuck with Ryonet as well, though. Like, you're producing fonts and they're selling them with you, and you're producing like all this stuff on a bit of like, it's like a parallel tangent, but it's kind of you're not just doing the artworking. Is that can you tell me about your interest in making fonts and things?
That's a little more recent. I mean, I haven't done a ton of work with Ryonet, but once in a while they'll ask me if I have something I've been working on. And I like making fonts. I mean, I'm still kind of new to it, but it is kind of my background is design. So like it's not too hard for me to kind of like get in there and figure it out. And making fonts is like just real technical. And I like that. And that's what I like about screen printing too. It's like the artistry of like, it's very technical. And I just like getting in there and like getting all the variables just right and stuff like that. So it's kind of like that with making fonts. It's very like, just gotta move this there. And I don't know. It's very like, you gotta get just right, that's what I like about it. Making fonts, and I might be making more stuff with Ryonet, but it's kind of just like when I have free time, because that's like I feel like I never have free time. And like with screen printing, it's already like a side hustle. Like with my full-time job and everything, it's always like, when do I have time to print? And doing those extra like art packs and fonts for Ryonet is like, I don't know, it's like so far down the list. It's like whenever I've got a moment, I guess. I like doing it. I like I just like designing, and screen printing kind of goes hand in hand with that. Like, I know a lot of printers have that hard, like they want to get into screen printing, but they don't have that background. So, I've tried to introduce a little bit of that into like, because I make videos on YouTube, a little bit more of like the design side of it. I try to touch on that a little bit, like, because, that's a hard part to get into from the screen printing side. So like Illustrator tips and tutorials and stuff like that. That's what I like doing. I guess I like educating on top of everything else too. And
And then when did it come into it that you made this enamel pin? Because mine is in the post and I am so excited.
All
the Americans already have theirs. And I'm just
right. Yeah, there are a few overseas ones I shipped, a few to Canada and UK mainly. I think that's it. Our
postmen are on strike. So for weeks. So we're not getting them, but it's okay. It'll be a New Year's gift. But
dang. Yeah, I try to get them out before the holidays, but I don't know. I guess I can't control that.
You can't control them not going.
It's like once I like give it away, it's like sending your child off to, I don't know. The enamel pins, that's like a weird thing. I mean, a little bit of backstory. I have a little bit of a history making or designing enamel pins. Before designing like sports apparel as my current job, I was freelance and I used to design pins just for the fun of it as like an extra income. And I would mainly sell these like at comic conventions. like setting up a table or a booth or whatever, and I just like sell like more like fan art related, like pop culture pins. So I did that for a little while, and having that background, like designing pins is like, it's like a weird thing. Like there's so many limitations to it that like it's hard to get like a good design. Like but what I really like about pins is that you can get more creative with it, especially like when they have some sort of design or some sort of motion like mechanism to them. And actually I have this one right here. This is the
there he is.
Yeah, there it is. So like with pins, you got things like spinning pins, you got sliding pins, you got all these different like mechanisms where you can like have motion to it. Those are the types of pins that I really, really like. And, when I got back into screen printing a few years ago, I was like, what would make a great pin? A spinning pin, because the spinning press and everything. I'm just like, and I'd seen some people make screen printing related pins, but like nothing like that. And I felt like, well, somebody should just make that. I guess I can make it since, I
like all of your skills together.
Yeah, I try to make pins that I would want to wear myself, so it's just kind of like a no-brainer thing for me.
Yeah. No. If people can't see what we're looking at, it's a 4-color press, and you can even see the designs burned on the screens. Yeah. It's awesome. But it's amazing like how geeky the screen print community is, and we love miniature things. And like I did some mini squeegees ages ago on keychains. Okay. And they just there's thousands of them, and I did them as a giveaway for me, and then I put them up on Etsy, and they were selling, and I was like, guys, cool. you're spending £5 on this, like little with my branding on it. Like I didn't know that was a thing. People and little screens. And
I'm surprised. Like I thought I'd make this and I'd have one for myself, and maybe I'd sell a few, and then I'd just have a bunch that nobody wanted, but like people bought them, and I'm like, cool. But I kind of like, I don't know. I kind of don't want to make more because I like how limited things can be. And I mean, I've got other ideas for pins. If I want to go down that road, I can make more. I've got, there's plenty of screen printing related like things you can do with pins, I think. And I mean, I've got a few ideas, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun to make. It's definitely something different, so that's why I like it.
Yeah, it's probably just that crossover between like digital into analog, and like the real bringing all your digital creativeness into the real world. And then I don't know, say more fun.
I definitely have like ADD when it comes to like creative endeavors. So like screen printing is just another one of them, but like, video, like the videos that I've made for YouTube, I have a background in design, but also like video production and stuff. So like, I just like making stuff, and videos, whether they're screen printing related or whatever they are, it's just another like creative outlet for me. Pins are another one. I don't know. I don't know. I just like to make things, I guess.
How have you done with your decisions on like which way to go with screen printing? Like, have you gone like Plastisol route or water-based route, and what kind of things determine those decisions?
Right now it's Plastisol. I'd say basically 100% Plastisol, which makes me feel a little guilty because I know I really should be getting into water-based just from like a eco viewpoint, that's something I really want to tackle in the next year though. Just getting used to it. It's all been because like it's just easier to print with Plastisol. It's really the only reason, and just laziness not to try water-based. But yeah, that's definitely a goal of mine for the next year, is to like really get my hands dirty with water-based and just like figure it out.
I wouldn't feel that guilty about the environmental thing on like a micro scale, because a lot of it's like...
Yeah, I just feel like there's always that responsibility you have in the back of your head, like what can you be doing to help? And I mean, yeah, I am on a small scale right now, so I guess I'm not that worried about it, but um, I'm always up for a challenge. So that would be my next challenge, is to get into water-based, but also poster printing. That would be my wife. Who, like, on the side, she does artwork for like galleries and stuff. She wants to print. She doesn't want to get her prints like digitally printed anymore. She wants me to print them. So like she keeps like, please build a paper press, like get like a real paper press going. And that's another thing on the list to do.
Yeah. You can get pretty far with some hinge clamps. That kind of thing. But yeah, I do have like a vacuum table, and it's the best thing I've ever bought.
Yeah.
So that's a whole other thing, because then you're going to start looking around the studio and go, oh, I could print on wood, and I can print on metals, and I know, on glass. We did glass the other day. It's awesome. And then gilding, and it just goes on and on and on. But it's definitely another
thing to like spend a lot of time on to perfect. I mean, because it's like once I figure out one thing, I gotta like move on to the next thing. So like plastisol on apparel, no problem, and now it's like water-based, and then trying like poster printing, like that's where I want to head to next. Yeah,
it sounds like you're doing it from like this inquisitive kind of learning and creative way, instead of like a purely like, how can I make money doing this production method?
Absolutely. I mean, it all, like I said, it started with the band, which was another creative outlet, and it just started from like a place of not really trying to start a business, but just like seeing if I could do it. Like I had seen other people screen print. Friend of ours, Jordan, he runs a shop in South Florida called Fine Print Shop. He kind of like turned us on to it. And after seeing him doing it like in a live setting, because his main thing is doing live printing, and like actually seeing it being done is kind of what got me into it. And just like I don't know, it ignited something in my head where it's just like, I want to try to do that. Like, I feel like I could do that. And I don't know, maybe it's being naive or something, but
I don't think it's naive. I think it's so exciting doing your first print. So I can definitely relate to that. Like I had the exact same experience. You see it coming up first time, you're like, holy hell. And then if that goes on to then be something that someone sells, like quite soon after, you're like, wow, this is really like instant producing and like making value out of something like paper, and increasing the value out of like your own creativity. It's very addictive.
Absolutely. I mean, the whole business side of it is definitely like new to me, because like I've never started a business before, but I don't know, kind of just figuring that out as I go along. And then like, but it all goes back to like what you said. It's just like the creative curiosity of it is what got me into it, and what is continuing to drive me through it, I think. So like once I feel like I've gotten a handle on something, I'm always looking for that like next thing to kind of figure out. Yeah.
What was anything that was really difficult that you just couldn't get your head around? Like, was making screens tricky, or curing, or?
I would say the two main things in the beginning. Well, the very beginning, I couldn't make screens just because it's mostly space thing, and it was really hard for me to expose like old school like 500-watt lamp or whatever. Like that was always hard, so I just had my friend make it for me. And then but like after I got that, I think the next hardest thing was like getting a nice clean white print, because it's so thick, that was hardest, like just getting like a really good like opaque white. But I don't know, it's like everything else, you just try and hopefully you're learning from your mistakes. But those were kind of the two hardest things early on.
It's tricky. Like, what kind of like resources did you find available to teach you? Were you like YouTube based, like a lot of people know?
For sure. YouTube. I watched, like Ryonette videos. I mean, in the early days when I first got that one color press from Ryonette, it came with like a DVD. And I don't know if they were on.
I don't know if I find that funny at the moment, but it's funny, isn't it?
No, it is. Like, it was called like Screen Printing 101 or something, and it had Ryan Moore in there. But like, I feel like either they were barely on YouTube, or I don't know. I didn't really look at YouTube like that back in the day. YouTube was like cat videos when I was first getting into it. I wasn't thinking about it in like an educational way. So like when I first started, it was that DVD that I learned the basics from. But then later on, when I kind of restarted it, got back into it, it was YouTube, it was Ryonette, it was the Print Life, Mikey Designs, and I think like Lee Stewart was starting around that time. So like those were like the ones that I was kind of learning from. And I mean, there's others, I can't remember them all, and then like, I guess somewhere along the way, I started making videos too, but this is a sidetrack.
No, go for it. I want to hear about your YouTube thing, because I'm trying to make videos too. So
of course. Which your videos are great, by the way. They're very informative. I think you posted one today about live printing, right? At events?
Selling t-shirts at events, but not live printing. But
Okay,
I was saying how much money we made.
It wasn't live. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I remember. That's a tough thing to crack. That's another topic. But anyway, the YouTube thing didn't really start as me trying to make like screen printing videos. Like I said, I have tons of creative endeavors. So I kind of just wanted to document some of that. Mm-hmm. It could be music related, it could be screen printing related, or design, could be, I don't know, anything that I've got going on in this brain. So screen printing videos kind of came from just like the first thing that people started watching, like I made other videos, people weren't really watching them. And then I started making like a screen printing video or two, and like people actually kind of like started watching it and commenting. And I'm like, well, I guess I got to keep doing this. So that's kind of where those videos went, is mostly screen printing related. And then anytime I can sneak in something else, like music or whatever, I try to, because really I just like making stuff, I like documenting it, like what I like about it, what doesn't work about it. And I don't know. It's just whatever kind of sparks that creative itch, that's where the videos try to go to, at least.
Yeah. But like, I feel like recently there's been a lot more infrastructure for people like you to actually like monetize their creativity on things like, I don't know if you're on Patreon, but you've got so many different avenues available now, right? So you can make like digital assets. You can do, I don't know if you're making money on YouTube yet, but it's something that
a little,
it's an avenue, right? It's like an income stream.
Yeah.
So that wasn't really available 10 years ago, right?
No, it wasn't. Back in the day, I hate using that phrase, but it was all in-person sales of like artwork that I would make, or the pins or whatever. But like now there's a way to express yourself creatively, not just the thing you're making, like say a pin or whatever, but a video about what you're doing, whether that be on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch. Some of those I haven't quite figured out, but like YouTube, I have a small, subscriber base on there. There's not much money in it right now, but there's a little bit. Patreon, like you mentioned, that has been in the back of my head for a long time. I like the idea of crowdsourcing.
Me too.
I've dabbled with it mostly in like Kickstarter and stuff like that, but Patreon, I feel like it's tricky because you definitely need to have that following to back it up.
But YouTube seems to be going that way, right? With
Yeah.
like members and thanks. And...
Yeah. I haven't dabbled with that much yet. But I've kind of been observing other people do it and seeing like what makes sense for me. Because like I would love to do something like a membership thing or Patreon, but I have to make it like make sense for me and unique. And that's my main thing, is just making something unique, which is also why like the YouTube thing, like I could just commit to screen printing, but I feel like I have a hard time coming up with something that other people haven't touched on. And I want to make videos that dog's going crazy. I want to make videos that are different, like from my point of view. Like if I touch on a subject that's been covered before, like I hope I have something new to say or add to it. I don't really know. This is a side tangent, but yeah, it's all about like finding what makes sense to me. Like, so with Patreon and memberships, like, I don't know, I got to find the right way to sell it, I guess.
Yeah, no, I understand.
But like you mentioned, like digital assets and stuff like that, that seems like a pretty good way to go. Like when you have Patreon, you have your different tiers, or maybe YouTube works that way too. I'm not quite sure.
I was looking at it. I haven't got it, but YouTube has tiers that you make. So it's like, I don't know, $5, $10, $20. Yeah. And then they basically copy, all of the platforms are just copying each other. It's just like platform incest.
It's interesting.
Yeah. It's like Instagram's got TikTok, and then TikTok's dying. It's that everyone's just cannibalizing each other. And
is TikTok like dying? Is TikTok is going out or something? Like I don't know.
Think so. So what happened with like, say like, I started at the same time as like maybe 4 or 5 of my like peers on TikTok.
Right.
And we went just really, really high, and then plateau. Like you can't. There's just nothing from one point. I think it's an iOS update or something, but it's also a lot of competition on the channel, and the focus has changed. And
that's true. I keep hearing about how YouTube Shorts are going to be more. Yeah. I don't know. It's gonna beat out TikTok at some point. Who knows?
Well,
like it's all just soon. Yeah. Like they say they're gonna start rolling it out more in January, I think, and they're gonna more like integrate it more into. I don't really know what they're gonna do to change it, but like. Right now, it seems weird being able to like differentiate your regular videos from your shorts. And I don't think it's organic. I don't think it's like an organic like way to watch that type of video, like a mobile video. Yeah. Like, cause I don't know. It's just weird. Like, I don't know. They need to figure that out in like a better way, I think.
Yeah, when they first rolled it out, it was so difficult to do one. I think me and Em spent an entire day making one short, and it didn't even upload properly. And we're like, this can't be what you're trying to push. And then it went away for a little bit, and now it's coming back. And they're helping creators by monetizing them now. So
okay, and that's what I've heard, and will probably help be a real contender. Like as far as that, like TikTok. Like you said, seems to be plateauing. I've heard a lot of creators say that. I haven't really gone deep into TikTok myself, so I haven't experienced it. But that's really more because I'm having a hard time switching to that type of video. Yeah. Because like my whole thing is like planning a video out. I have like shot compositions in my head. I mean, I don't storyboard or anything, but like I have a very like specific like way I want it to look. And like for some reason I can't switch to mobile view. I don't know. There's something about it, and it's so like short form that I can't. It's hard to tell a story in such a short amount of time. So yeah, that's been my struggle, and it's going to continue to be that way with YouTube Shorts. I definitely prefer the long form video, like 5-10 minutes long, because I feel like you can tell a a concise story in that amount of time. You know, set up, you have your problem, and then you work through that, and then you have your resolution. I mean, that's, you know, basic story. With a short video like that, it's like, I don't know, like it has to be more just like in the moment, like check out what I'm doing kind of thing.
It's selling, isn't it? It's like you almost have to go into this naff salesman prostitute out your video thing, and you have to be like in your face, get your attention in 3 seconds.
Which I mean, all respect to people who can make content like that. I guess I just get really hung up on like how it looks true to me, I guess. Because like the last thing I want to do is get in front of the camera and be like, hey guys, check this out. I don't know. I can't take myself too seriously.
Hey, it's Josh from Print Screen. I know, yeah, it's not going to be your style. It's okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll crack it one day. But yeah, right now I just like telling, you know, more long form video, like a more traditional like story in that format, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens though.
But it switches so quickly anyway, so just stick to what you're doing, because it'll switch back to you in 6 months. Because
that's what I enjoyed. That's the thing too. You never know what's going to stick, and for me, it's like my main thing is like I have to enjoy doing it. Otherwise, it's going to feel like work, and I get super discouraged when things aren't really, when like nobody sees the video. You know. It's like, I don't know, at least I had fun making the video if nobody watches it, you know? And that's what it is for me. Like the YouTube channel that I have is like actually like 10 years old, and it's gone through a lot of different phases. Like when I first started it was just like making art, you know, like a screen capture of me like drawing something. And then it became more of like a vlog. And then at one point I was doing like reviews of movies and stuff like that. So like lots of different things I did on that channel. And then I took a couple years off, and then I restarted it doing what I'm doing now. But when I restarted it, I told myself like, I gotta like what I'm doing. Like those other times I was just expecting lots of people to be watching the videos and like nobody would watch. So then I would just give up. Right. So now it's just like, I gotta enjoy making it. And if nobody watches it, at least I can look at it and be like, well, it's a pretty good video. I had fun making that, you know?
Yeah.
And
that's what you put a lot of pride into them though. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Even an Instagram photo on your Instagram page. I don't know how to call it. But yeah, they're all like curated, and you can see that you're quite methodical and you're not just like smashing out anything.
Yep. Same.
I
love making well, actually on the subject of like mobile video, I do like making reels. I mean, they're all the same thing when you think about it, but like the reels I've been trying to make lately are more like I made a reel for the pin, and it felt more like an advertisement in a way.
Yes, like a little, like very precise little movie. That's how I read it.
Yeah. So I made that, and I'm like, oh, this looks pretty good. Like, but it's almost like a different gear that my brain switches to. It's like, this is my advertise like agency kind of brain, you know? So it's like, okay, well, I gotta like convey a message that's not like a story, you know, like with a long form video. So like, how can I just like advertise this little pin, you know? So I don't know. It really depends on what the video is about, I guess.
Yeah. It seemed to work because like all the big dogs in screen print have got it. So like
the big dogs.
The big dogs. Yeah. All the ones, the first ones that you like, everyone knows of.
Of course. Yeah.
All snapped it up because it's super cool.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see what else you come up with. You're saying like you've got all these other ideas. I'm like, what are the ideas? I want to see them.
Yeah.
But I'll wait for the pens and just
the pens. I mean, hopefully get yours soon. I have a couple ideas for maybe some more like screen printing, but also design, like graphic design related pins. I have ideas for, and again, they're more like motion, like they have some kind of like motion mechanism to them. So hopefully those work out. I don't know, like a lot of people get into screen printing like because they want to start a brand, which I guess this is sort of me doing that. Except with me, like I haven't been able to figure out like how to start like a clothing brand, because some people, it seems like they make screen printing focused designs to print,
right?
And that doesn't really make sense to me, because like in my head it's like, why would anyone want to buy, like if screen printing, the screen printer can just print it themselves, then why would they want to buy a screen printing t-shirt? I don't know.
We do, though. We do.
Yeah, we do. Okay.
I think I've thought about, I'm going to do a video on it.
Okay.
I'll do a reel or something, and I'll show you all the shirts that I bought from other screen printers just this year.
I know it's a thing, and I know people buy that stuff, but it's almost like a confidence thing. Like, why would anyone want to buy that from me? Like, that's not unique, at least not to me. Like, the pin is something different. So like, maybe that's why I'm moving more towards the pins than actual shirts.
Go like back to the shirts. You'll come up with something really cool.
I'll come up with something, I guess. I don't know. It's definitely like one of those things I think way too much about. It's like, what would make a cool design? I can do that stuff all day long in my day job, but I'm not dealing with my own assets. I'm dealing with, licensed apparel. So it's a lot easier when it's not like solely on me, But yeah, so something I'll figure out one of these days.
We will buy it because we're like that. If I think anyone else,
you're totally right. Yeah, you're totally right.
They work really well as your own shop samples as well, because like I don't know if you get asked that all the time, like, can I have a sample of this design? You're like, I'm not sampling your design for you because you want a free t-shirt, but I have this, which is my shop shirt. So
that's something that we're starting to. That's one of the things I want to have, is like to have a library of like, this is what we can do, or what we've done in the past. I mean, I keep a sample of every job I've done, so that's a good starting point. But then like more like, I don't do a whole lot of special techniques like puff or anything like that. So that's what we need to start doing, is like, okay, this is what puff would look like on something like this, or discharge, something else I need to experiment with. It's just like building up a library of like, because with working with my current clients, bands, most of like 99% of the time, it's like, we want basic white print on the cheapest shirt you have. But every once in a while, there's like a little bit of, can we do something with like halftones in it? Can we have like some special technique? But like, I don't know. I need like a almost like a portfolio of that to show off. Like, this is what it would look like or feel like.
Yeah. When the bands that we've worked with have seen what discharge ink can do, they don't switch back.
Oh yeah.
Because if they're like being in a mosh pit, being sweaty, or being the actual drummer in the band, making the decisions on what shirts they are.
100%.
And they're so soft, and they look really aged and cool, like the shirts that they got from the bands that they grew up with. It's a cool one.
That's 100% what you just said. The feel of the shirt and the shirt itself, I think bands sometimes pay attention to that. I mean, ones that I've worked with, but sometimes they'll want a really thick shirt and they don't mind the really thick plastisol feel to it. And I got to be like, I live in Florida, so it's really hot. It's very humid. I can't fathom wanting to wear like a really thick shirt with like a really thick print on it. But like, I don't know. It's a style, I guess. Some of these guys don't mind it. But yeah, I've been really wanting to add that to my arsenal as discharge.
Yeah.
Because I have shirts like that and they're my favorite,
Exactly.
They're my favorite shirts. So
yeah. I also, something that you said like before, like about being I felt like you were a little bit guilty about the water-based plus style thing.
Yeah.
But actually the shirt choice is by far like 95% of the decision on whether a shirt is environmentally friendly or not.
Okay. Yeah.
Like,
okay.
by far, like the organic cotton, right down to like whether you're thinking about whether the person who made the shirt is getting treated well. So
True.
there's whole brands of shirts that I won't even let in here.
Yeah.
As a rag. I'm so pissed off at them.
What would be what's your favorite blank to print on then?
It's Stanley Stella ones. I'm not
I don't think I haven't I have never seen that. So
they're in the US, but they're just spreading out. But you can have like similar effects with, I think, All Made, which is that, that one that was like a collective. But just the huge big ones, they're greenwashing the industry like crazy. And I go into it a lot, but I probably shouldn't because everyone's hearing me all the time. But there are like there's a really good page to follow called No Sweat.
Okay.
And they have their own brand, but you might not even be able to get the blanks, but at least you can see why they've made their own t-shirt blank brand. So, and a lot of the punks and bands in the UK, for example, they like leave all the big t-shirt wholesalers alone, and they just go for the ethical t-shirts. Okay. Because it's not very punk to take advantage.
Yeah, you're right. I feel like that is an opportunity to educate, because I see lots of bands like they tour, they want lots of shirts, and a lot of the content of their music is that kind of that message, that environmentally friendly like kind of message, and they don't really think about that kind of stuff. Some of them do, and they'll almost like swear off merch altogether. But I'm like, well, no, there are ways to do this more sustainably, and that's a teachable moment to be like, no, if you get it printed this way, then I think that you can still have that merch and still like, still display that message, So, and it's a selling point too, for the bands. Buy this merch and it's made with this apparel, with this type of ink or whatever,
it's punk.
It is.
Yeah. So what kind of band were you in? Like what kind of
That's embarrassing.
What was your band called? I love band names.
Well, I've been in so many over the years, and they're all local. Like we would do like small tours and stuff, but like we've always been mostly local and regional, I guess at best. But the one that I originally needed to print for was called the Long Johns, and we were a punk ska band, so very much in the vein of like No Doubt, I guess.
Is ska screaming? Sorry, I'm not very good at music.
What, ska? No, ska is like it's like it originated as like a Jamaican kind of like upbeat,
It's not screaming then.
Yeah, no. Well, there can be. That's called ska core. It's there's so many different ways to play ska, but we were very like No Doubt type of like Gwen Stefani, because we have female vocalists. So we sounded a little bit like No Doubt, I guess. That was that band. My current band is called Monument Beach. Yeah, that's like a Futurama reference.
Cool. I've watched loads of Futurama. Why don't I get that? I don't know.
I don't know. We're all nerds. We really like Futurama, so we just named our band something from Futurama. But yeah, it's the same vein, like punk kind of ska. We have like some horn players and stuff. And most of the bands I print for are in that kind of punk, hardcore, sometimes metal genres. But yeah, I don't know. I'll print for anyone. I mean, if you play music, I support you, because it's tough being a band on the road. It's very expensive. And I try to work with bands, get them shirts that they they just that, that they really like,
Yeah. And they're going to sell and make them money and make them like actually be able to stay on the road and make it professional.
Yeah,
because
that's the only way to make money as a band these days. It's hard selling music, but people will buy a shirt.
Yeah, that's really, really true. So yeah, it's probably, you've kind of got a kind of captive audience because the struggles that they've been through as a band. So you can like talk to them on that level.
I think that's why I prefer to work with bands, is because I have that personal like memory of like doing what they're trying to do. I haven't done it in a long time, but like it's it's a struggle. So like I try to work with them. I try to get them I get them going so they have something to sell,
Yeah, exactly. I've been thinking about that with like charities that I like as well. Like I'm thinking about designing this, because you're like looking at a charity and you're thinking what they're selling to make money, and you're like, people aren't buying that because they want the thing. They're doing it because they want to support you. But if you made it so they wanted the thing as well. I
mean, and I think that goes back to the whole, the punk scene and having that as a selling point with the sustainability. I think that would help them sell shirts, so it's all about, thinking about like what makes sense for the band, and, just helping them out that way.
Yeah. It's tricky though, isn't it? Because you've got to kind of like have a commercial brain and like a punk brain at the same time. You'll be like, I want to make this, but I have to make the person money at the same time. So
it's tough.
You can't detach them. So
I think that's why I have a hard time with the business side of stuff, because I really like, I'm doing it, we're printing right now mainly as a side hustle. It's not like a full-fledged like business, but it's also just like I'm making money doing it, but it's like I'm doing it mainly because I want to help the bands. And I print for other businesses, and I've printed for like local businesses. I've printed for like comic book conventions because I have that weird background in that. But so like I'll take on other printing jobs and I'll make money through that. But like I just like working with bands, and it's trying to figure out how to make that the business, That's been my struggle.
Would you ever do live printing like your mate?
Oh, I've done it.
You've done like
it's hard. I've done it a few times. I've done it at a punk show. I've done it at a comic convention, or a couple comic conventions. Live printing is like, I made a video about this. It's like being a carnival act, where you're like step right up and watch the screen printer. It's weird. Like,
I'm gonna have to watch this video after this.
I mean, you make money doing it, but what I have a hard time with is finding just how to be there, like working it out with the promoter, that's the hard part. Like, are they willing to like put some money up front? Are they not? Okay, if they're not, then like, what are they offering me to be there? Like that's always that part of the business is hard to crack. And the ones that I've done, like I've made money, but I put way too much money up front than more than I'd like to.
In stock that you didn't print, or what do you mean?
Yeah. I end up with blanks that I didn't need. Like, it's hard to gauge how much you need. Is the promoter willing to like? Because the ones I've done, it's like I'm giving some of that away to them. Like the punk show I did was a charity event, so I didn't mind being there to print, but half of it went to the charity. So I tried to, they weren't gonna meet me halfway or anything. So like all the blanks I bought up front, and I still made money, but like, I don't know. Not like I'm at a charity event to like make money or anything like that, but like that's the hard part, is like making it so I'm not losing money, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
And then the comic conventions I've done, it's again, it's hard to gauge how much stock you need up front. So it's always an experiment, I feel like, because I've done it like a couple times, and the first time I did really well, the second time I didn't do that well. And I don't know, there's so many variables to it. It's hard to make money doing live printing. So working out some kind of deal with the promoter, maybe they can help with the costs. I mean, I don't know. I haven't been able to figure that part out.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I've done it in loads of different scenarios. Like when I was hired as the printer, nothing to do with me. I was just their printer on site doing a commercial job at a trade show. So then you've got a flat rate. You've worked out your pricing. It doesn't matter how much you print, you're getting paid the same regardless.
Okay.
So that was just like employed, which I hate. But anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
I was just employed for the day as their puppet.
It seems a little more straightforward, at least. I mean, you're making what, just your rate or something?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. You can say like, I cost this much for the day. I'm going to be there for 3 days. You pay for all the stock that you use. That way it was. I never want to do that because I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want that one.
Yeah.
It does entice people to the store though. If you've got like other stuff that you're selling, I suppose, to certain audience.
Yeah. And that's the way we were able to kind of offset that cost is we're selling I was using a 4-color Riley Hopkins, like the 150, I guess. Which, just 4 1-color designs. So you could buy one of those, but then we were also selling like pre-printed stuff, like tote bags or whatever, so like that's kind of a way to offset it a little bit so that you can actually make, if they don't want one of the designs you're printing, like at least you have something else there that maybe they want. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I enjoy I enjoy being there and showing people the printing though, because I don't know, I just like talking about screen printing. So people come up and they either say, "Oh, what's going on here?" and I explain it to them, or they'll be like, "Oh, screen printing! I did that in college once." Yeah.
Why don't you have next time? Can we all just have that? Could be your T-shirt. That could be your T-shirt for everyone. I did screen printing at college once, and everyone would be like, "Oh, you need the print screen one." Because you're saying like we'll print it ourselves, but we won't.
Yeah.
So you do it because when it comes from you, it'll be like carefully curated and nicely presented, and it'll mean more from you. That's really funny.
True. But that's I don't know. That's it's fun. Like I was saying, it's fun to actually be there printing, but the preparation that goes into it, I don't know. It might be a little bit too much for me. I mean, as far as setup and payoff, I don't know if it's really enough payoff to put in all that work. I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough for me.
We've actually gauged market stores. So we've got a regular market store every month, and we've gauged the ones that we had live printing at, and versus like how much money we generated on ones that we didn't have live screen printing at. So one's just like sit back, sell the shirts. The other one's like me interacting with the public, getting them to print. So that it's just there's people in the public as a mix. Some of them are very intimidated by being asked something by a stranger, but then some of them love it and they're like, "Oh my God, this is the best thing ever." And then they bring their friends around and it's like they remember it for ages and they're so excited. So you don't know how many people you're really like scaring off or enticing, but we found we actually made more money without it, which is a really weird. I thought it was the other way around.
Yeah, I mean that might that's probably the answer, because like I like doing it, but it makes more sense to just have your stock, like I mean your pre-printed stock there. If I maybe could figure out how to get more of that and maybe cut back on the blanks that I have on hand. I don't know, because it's like I'm trying to find a way to make live printing work, because I enjoy doing it. I think I just enjoy the act of printing, and if I can have other people like see it and like it and like maybe educate some people on it, because I think that's another big thing is like being more transparent about screen printing, like people complaining like shirts are too expensive or this or that. Well, like, well, this is why, this is how so much work goes into it. You know, like this is how you get your shirts. You know, I like people realizing that, you know, realizing what work goes into it. So like, I don't know, that's why I want to do it. I'm just trying to justify it.
But no, this seems to be like the conundrum that a lot of people are having. Like I've heard print shops that are opening up now. I mean, they're adapting now. So they've got a print shop and then they're like adding retail spaces to the front or moving so that you can kind of see the screen print in the back, but then you've got retail at the front. And then some people are thinking about like putting coffee shops and things in there. So it's like a craft based. Yeah, it's like there's always going to be like this mix, I think.
I feel like that's an interesting way to do it. And if I had my own shop, I would aim for that. Like I would want there to be a storefront where you can buy shirts or you can buy maybe incorporating local music. I don't know if you're familiar with Everything is Mediocre. Jonathan, he does something kind of like that. And I really like his shop because it's like a community space in a way where he'll invite musicians to play in his shop, or I think he sold local music there too. And it's also a print shop. So if I were to have a shop, I would probably try to do something like that where like it's a screen printing shop and like people can see it being done, or maybe I even teach classes about it there. But like it's also like just an artistic space, you know. People can sell their music, people can sell their artwork on the walls, you know. I would like to kind of integrate those things, you know.
But I definitely see that happening. It's like there's a lot of microbreweries in the UK opening up in these really weird like industrial estates. I don't know if you're getting that in America as well, but
I mean, pretty much.
And then what they're doing is they haven't got the reach really of like the creative people. So they're inviting creative people and market stalls into the breweries. Yeah. So that everyone's trying to get this like vibe right with like music, beer.
Yeah. We have a lot of breweries in the, you know, Orlando, Tampa area, and they all seem to have that going on. Like they'll have a creative market and they'll have bands playing and stuff like that. And I really dig that, like just the community art aspect of it. So if I could like create that in like a shop atmosphere, like that's what I would aim for.
Yeah. Is that what you and Kate talk about having, or is
a little
it
bit?
Just like
I mean, right now we're in a weird place personally because we're trying to buy a house. So it's like, well, maybe we'll just keep our full-time jobs until after we buy the house.
Oh yeah.
Because it's such a risk to make that leap, and I'm super money conscious, you know, so like I have to like have a lot of assurance backed up into that. Like if I make that leap, I have to have a buffer of some kind and a good client base to start with, you know, which I'm still working on. So like, yeah, I mean, it's a dream, you know, working for yourself. I've always just wanted to work for myself, you know. It's definitely something we've talked about, but you know, I'm not in a hurry because I also don't mind having stability. So it's kind of just like, you know, making the leap, it'll feel right. When it feels right, you know, it'll happen. Yeah.
No, that's 100%. Like I just fell into it early and I didn't have the commitments. So I was able to take a shit ton of risks, and I'm still am. Then I'm looking at my siblings and they've got like mortgages and kids, and I'm like, okay, I understand why you can't make a misstep.
Yeah, that's part of the fun though, is the risk. I just, you know, for us, we walked away. Like, I don't want to get too personal, but like we had a house and then we had to sell it for, you know, reasons, and now we just like we miss owning a house. Yeah. And so we want that. And then once we have that, then we can figure out like what to do next.
Yeah. No, I understand. No, it sounds cool, whatever you're going to make, because
Yeah.
you don't seem to, like, I've only just been diving into stuff recently because I basically saw the pin and then I was like, who the hell made this? This person must be cool. But it seems like whatever you're doing it very precisely and well, and then moving on to the next thing. So whatever you
everything is very well thought out, maybe thought out too much. That's probably one of my faults, is overthinking. But yeah, it all comes from a place of just wanting to make cool stuff and just finding a way, like a stable way to make money off of that, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Josh.
Yeah.
I think that rounds up quite nicely, your experience and like how you've come in and you've just like blasted into the industry quite quickly. And can't see what else.
It doesn't feel quickly, but
but like onto other people's radars of other print studios, perhaps. But I hope you get just pulled away from all the other stuff and just be made a print studio owner. Yeah, because that's what I want to see.
That's the dream.
Selfish point.
Well, I don't know. It's been fun, and hopefully it's not over. I mean, I'm always thinking about like whatever else I can do to like keep it going. So.
Yeah, I'll make everyone envious with my pins anyway. So really appreciate that. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah. Well, thank you. It's been fun chatting.
Yeah, this is probably our Christmas episode, so it'll probably come out next week or so. Yeah.
Oh well, happy holidays.
And neither of us are Christmassy at all. We've got one bauble in sight.
I've got a tree out in the living room, but I don't feel like taking the computer out there. So
just drag it in here, just one shot. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Cheers,
Thank you.